Hi, I'm Sara Roberts, the Community Engagement Coordinator at Benton Soil and Water Conservation District. Join me as I visit our 4 recipients of the Jerry Paul Native Pollinator Conservation Grant as they wrap up their projects. Hope you enjoy.
All wildflowers, the Sidalcia, I actually put in right when we moved in, and now the mallow has come up and it looks really pretty.
Yeah.
And then we got like bluehead gilia, kind of a patch of it here, and then a lot of Maddie tarweed over there. It's encouraged a lot of discussion with neighbors around here, which has been really fun. Got to know our community a lot better. One of the neighbors, we've kind of chatted a lot. They've got a wildflower butterfly garden at their house just up the road. And I was talking to them about the difficulty of establishing milkweed. And I really wanted got a bunch of milkweed, so they dug up a bunch of rhizomes and brought them down to me. And so I've been able to plant some milkweed rhizomes in here. And hopefully we'll be helping some monarchs out if everything goes well. With the front of the house was to increase privacy using native plants and to use plants that will help all the pollinators and hopefully at different times throughout the year. So we've got things like Oregon grape that will eventually become a nice big bush and hedge, the Waithia, which will be kind of this nice low bushy, sort of have a bit of a shrubby appearance, lots of big sunflowers on those.
What has been your favorite part of this journey building your pollinator garden?
I think it has been watching things come alive in the spring and watching their first blooms come and knowing in the next 3 years what's now this big is going to be this big, and being able to imagine that transformation is just really fun.
What were some of your kind of biggest reasons for wanting to undertake this?
Well, when we lived in our old home, we had learned that pollinator-friendly plants are great, and then later I learned that not just pollinator-friendly, but native plants are really important for all of the species that we use. And so we had started doing that in our old yard, and then when we got here in this new large space, we wanted to start right away in putting in all these plants.
What advice would you give to somebody who has never done a project like this or really hasn't planted a lot of natives?
Not to be too scared of trying something. If a plant dies, it's okay. And many of them will survive. Give them a little water and a little bit of love. And native plants don't need a lot more than that, and you'll just be rewarded by watching them grow. Enjoy being in your space. Wander through your space and enjoy it. Then you'll get to know your plants and see how they're doing, and you'll feel happy.
So Amy, how long have you been working on this project for Coho?
Maybe about 10 years. Wow. It all started with, looking at it and thinking about it, but not doing anything. And then I talked to my neighbor about it, and then she came over and we started drawing out maps and designing where we do what. And she was part of my inspiration. Then this other lady where I live named Jude started getting interested, and she did all this research on solarizing, then and how to put plastic down to kill weeds. So we started using her methods for these big areas, and that's what really worked. You can't seed it right away. You have to be really patient.
Yes.
This is really slow. It doesn't happen very quickly. And this was seeded, I think, 2 years ago. And these seeds are just starting to come in, like the buttercups and the lomatiums are brand new this year. They just appeared.
What's been the most rewarding part for you of being involved with this?
I think just seeing the things growing And I'm also really interested in helping insects because I don't think people realize how important they are. You know, how they're like basis of our ecosystem. People don't realize birds really depend on insects for their food. We need insects for soil and decomposing. And so I've always been a big proponent of insects, especially butterflies. But I really like to see the life in the meadow.
There's so many bees. I just keep seeing bees out of the corner of my eye, you know? What are some of the impacts that you can see this garden having on the folks who come here to Monarch on 4th?
We have had so much interest and excitement, especially with the children that come by and seeing the flowers and now seeing the insects and the birds that are coming to the space that weren't here before. They're just really excited and interested. And then their parents are really curious as to the project and then learning more about native plants and the importance of what they provide to the creatures and the birds and all of those species that we live with.
The children's garden. Over there.
The little pathway and all the berries.
Wow.
So there's lots of berries in it.
Oh, that's fun for just eating and picking. What has been the most valuable part of this project for you?
It's hard to pick one, but mainly all the people who have come together to make this. And that has been Oregon State University students from 2 clubs, folks from Inside Monarch, Evening Garden Club, Benton Soil Water Conservation District, other funders, the Community Fruit Shop, other people who care for Dallas. The owners of this wonderful place. All these people have come together for this project. And as soon as things started blooming, the wildlife started coming back. And we couldn't ask for any dragonfly, maybe an Allen's hummingbird, cabbage white butterflies, a few different kinds of bees. We're going to keep track of it. We actually did a mini BioBlitz last fall, like a 5-minute BioBlitz, and we got just a couple of species. And so we're going to repeat that this coming fall and do a comparison. And I think it will look very good.
Thanks for joining me today. If you liked what you saw and you'd love to support this program, please go to www.bentonswcd.org/donations, and you can designate your donation to the Jerry Paul Native Pollinator Conservation Grant.